And Joe Douglas joins us, the general manager of the Jets. Hey, Joe, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Gio. Hey, Boomer. How you guys doing this morning?
We're doing great. I want to make this declaration. Could you only go on our show out of all the shows that are here in New York? Can you just be our guy? Is that okay with you?
You know you guys are my guys.
There we go.
You gotta just make sure you run all that through Eric and Jared.
But you gotta hide
they
behind
also
that.
have a deal with the other company.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so Joe, let's get into it. In 2016, you were with the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys traded up to draft Carson Wentz. This feels very, very similar to me. And so 2 questions for you. Is it similar, selecting Zack Wilson? And when did you come to the understanding that Zack was going to be your guy?
I think obviously it's a process that led to this point. Just having a chance to really have him spring on the scene this year, having such a great junior season, and getting a chance to watch that tape, and then when we brought Coach Saleh here and his staff, and we were able to huddle up and really dive into this class, it became pretty clear who our coaches were extremely excited about. Just the athleticism, the arm talent, the easy release, the accuracy, anticipation, decision making. I'd say it happened early in this pre-draft process.
All right, so you say decision making, things of that nature. You really don't have a backup quarterback to speak of on your roster with any sort of experience. I'm sure you're going to attend to that. Is this kid have the ability, do you believe, to be your starter on day one?
Well, that's going to be a decision that Coach Saleh makes. At the end of the day, and you're right. It's a young room. It's a young room, but it's a really talented room. And so I think now this week, we're going to huddle up with Coach and his staff, and just survey what's out there, and if there's an opportunity to upgrade any room, we're going to look at it. If there's any opportunities, we're going to try to be aggressive. But we do feel good about the talent in that room, and it's going to be a great competition.
So it's
a great competition.
It's not a competition. He's full
Joe.
of it. He's not.
Hey, you can't be our guy and tell us that.
Right? Yeah. We all know he's full of it. With this, there's no need to even press him. He's got to say it. We know he's full of it. He's probably smiling on the other end of the phone.
Okay.
We get it, Joe. All right. So anyway, is it fair to say that you didn't go into this draft saying we need a quarterback and we need to reset the quarterback clock, and that's why we have to draft a quarterback number 2 overall? You went into it saying, we may actually keep Sam as well if we don't fall in love with a quarterback in this draft. Is that how the process went?
That's really accurate, Gio. We did not walk into this offseason saying we have to make this move. I think once we got together and we had discussions, and there was this groundswell towards the staff, the scouting staff, the coaching staff, really liking Zack. It just made sense at the end of the day, for us to do what we did, and I talked about it a few weeks ago when we made the decision to trade Sam. And everybody here loves Sam. Everyone here respects Sam, but we just felt at the end of the day we hit the reset button on the financials, and we wish Sam nothing but the best. And we just didn't feel like it was a great environment to have Sam and a rookie here for the season with Coach Saleh and his staff.
Makes total sense, Joe. Joe Douglas, GM of the Jets, is joining us. Any truth to the story that the San Francisco 49ers offered you a first-round draft pick for Sam Darnold?
Well, I'm not going to get into any specifics. We had conversations with a few teams, not to get into any specifics, but we made the decision. We were comfortable making it on the timeline that we made it. And again, I wish Sam nothing but the best, and he's going to do a great job down there.
So one of the criticisms of Zack Wilson in his college career was when he faced tougher competition at BYU, numbers not so great, and then he would feast on some of the lower competition. Tell me why that wasn't a concern for you guys.
Well, I didn't necessarily see that, Gio. I saw a young man go into an SEC environment at Tennessee, win that game. I saw him play a ranked team against USC as a sophomore, win that game. Saw him play big in clutch moments. In his freshman bowl game, he went 18 of 18, had a tremendous game. So No, obviously they didn't win that tough game down at Coastal Carolina. Obviously, unique circumstances. I don't think that game was scheduled until Wednesday. I didn't necessarily have those concerns. We didn't necessarily have those concerns. We see a guy that plays big in big moments.
I feel like we're talking a lot about Zack Wilson, and rightfully so, because you've made a lot of decisions here. The biggest decision maybe this offseason was that the Johnson family gave you control. They made you the guy. You brought in Robert Saleh. How are things working between you and the coaching staff and this new structure that has been afforded to you?
Can't say enough great things about Coach Saleh. He's the man. I mean, just with the energy he brings, his processes that he brought from San Francisco, bringing over Coach LaFleur, who runs a great offensive scheme, bringing over Coach Ulbrich from Atlanta, and this is going to be an attacking defense. And then I thought one of the coolest things we did, and I've talked about it before, but we had our meeting, went over a roster in January with the entire staff, and then the very next week, the coaches put together profile tapes on every single position. And so we just dived into every position specific, every critical factor, and that was so important for our staff to really take that information, download it, and apply it to this year's free agent and draft class. So the communication has been outstanding. I feel like we're really on the same page on priority position, what it takes to win in this league, and I'm so excited he chose to be here.
Yeah, I'm sure that Jet fans are glad to hear that. Oh, so you trade Jamal Adams, you get all this draft capital, and part of getting draft capital means that you can move around the draft board. You can move up, you can move back, you can, kind of meander around and try to get the guys that you want. And Gio and I were on the night that, the first night of the draft, and here comes the trade for the Jets, who used some of that draft capital to go up and get Alijah Vera-Tucker. How excited were you to be able to get this young man, and did you feel some sort of satisfaction with all that draft capital that you had that you were able to go up and get him?
Boomer, I was ecstatic to get AVT, man. Like for us, we obviously knew what we were going to do at pick 2. And so as we were going through the draft and our pre-draft planning, we talked about the possibility of getting aggressive to get a player that we felt really good about. And so if any player that we had in our top 10 started moving outside of the top 10, we were going to try to get aggressive. And so really Alijah was at 14, and that was an easy decision for us. I feel like, to go up and get a player that we think is gonna bring the right type of mentality, right type of character, along with his athleticism and versatility, being able to play both guard and tackle.
Talking to Joe Douglas, Jets general manager, on Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. You know what it's like here now. You've been here long enough. The media, guys like us, the pressure. Some guys succeed in this environment, some don't. When you're evaluating players, including Zack Wilson, who is someone who has spent his entire life in Utah and now is coming to the East Coast to be the Jets quarterback, which is a pressure cooker. It's crazy. Do you look for things in their personality that can handle this area and this type of environment, or are you not even thinking about that in your evaluation?
No, we always think about that. That's going back to when I was in Philadelphia too. It's playing in Philly, playing in New York. It takes a certain type of ruggedness. Emotionally, physically. You have to be a rugged guy, and you have to have confidence, and you have to have mental and physical toughness. And so that was the cool thing about diving into Zack, was that just doing the Zoom calls, you could see the confidence, the intelligence, his recall, his intensity, his passion. That was right there. And then, just in our talks leading up to the draft, just being with our assistant GM, Rex Hogan, who was at Utah with Urban Meyer back in the day. And, we were talking about him coming from this transition from Utah to New York City. How's that going to be? And I remember Rex just saying, "Hey, look, just spending time in Utah. He's like, being the quarterback at the university at BYU is a heavy, heavy burden in that state. In the Mormon religion, and obviously BYU has its own television network. There's a lot of pressure that goes into it. So through it all, Zack handled it well. Adversity, success. He handled both aspects of that really well, and so we feel really comfortable about the person we're bringing in here.
Yeah, it sounds like it too. The other person that I was really excited about and watching film and watching him and play at Ole Miss is Alijah Moore, the guy that you selected in the second round, wide receiver, 5'9". He's basically a bolt of lightning at 4.35, 40, I believe. The nice thing about what I think I've seen over the last 2 years from you, Joe, is that your top 6 draft picks have been offensive players. Michael Carter is included in that this year. And, of course, you have Denzel Mims and Mekhi Becton from last year, that you recognize that you had to rebuild this offense. And by, I guess, selecting Alijah Moore along with Zack Wilson, you are right in the middle of rebuilding this whole thing.
No, definitely excited about these playmakers that we've brought in. And, you know, there's a lot of chapters in this book to be written, but we feel good about the last 2 years, the speed, the playmaking ability, explosiveness that we've been able to bring in here.
So when you have a big draft class, you're obviously turning the roster over. Last year was last year, and you don't even want to think about it anymore. You got a lot of young guys you want to contribute right away. Do you think about making sure that guys are ready, or do you say part of being ready when you come into a roster like this is, I mean, we're throwing you into the fire to see how they react? How many of these guys that you brought in do you expect to see playing right away?
Look, I think every person is unique in the way that they come in here, you know, and you know we saw it last year. There were rookies that came in, and you know they were ready day one. One of the best players on the team, and some guys need that extra time. They need to get acclimated. I think everyone develops at different rates, but the one thing that we really want to be, and this is our focus, and I know I've said this before, but we want to be like a player development machine, and that takes the right support staff and strength conditioning and training and nutrition, sports science, the coaching staff. We're all in this together in terms of player development, and so you know we want to come up with individual player development plans for each guy, because not every guy comes in and is going to hit the ground running. There's an acclimation process, and so we just want to make sure that these individual player development plans help with this process.
Yeah, I mean, damn, your coaching staff, you got a bigger roster there than you do actually of players. It seems like. So you got a lot of those guys. You know, you told us when you were a Raven scout that one of the things that you took pride in was the undrafted free agent, that you wanted to find the diamond in the rough. How'd that go for you this year?
You know, we feel great about that. You know, we were able to sign several guys that were on our draftable board, not having a 7th round pick, guys that we certainly would have considered if we had a 7th round pick. So we feel good about the guys that we signed after the draft. Now, look, they've got a great opportunity. They've got a great opportunity to come in here, show that they belong, compete. You know, we've had undrafted free agents. A lot of key undrafted free agents come in the last few years and make their mark. You know, from Bryce Huff to Javelin Guidry came in and finished strong this year. I think he had 4 forced fumbles towards the back half of the season. So I think it's a great opportunity for these guys, because it's not ultimately it's not where you start. I mean, I'm sure they're upset that they weren't drafted, but it's an opportunity to finish strong.
Which Michael Carter do you like better? Is it the running back from North Carolina because you took him before the other Michael Carter? Do you have a preference in these two Michael Carters?
Love them both.
One of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. And it was funny because as I was watching the draft, they made a mistake on the coverage. They started playing the highlights of the other Michael Carter when you took the running back Michael Carter, and then you ended up taking both of them.
No, I mean, so we do this meeting with our scouting staff, and the coordinators are involved, and we do it the day before the last day of the draft, the morning of the last day of the draft, excuse me, and it's really like the last chance for our scouts to really stand on the table. It's like put your stamp on this player, put your initials on this player, and so our scout on the East Coast, he says, "I want Michael Carter," and I go, "Which one?" He goes, "Yes, both."
You wanted both?
Like, all right, MC squared. Yes. I got you. So no, there's a lot of passion in the building for both Michael Carters, and both of these guys have a chance to come in here and help us.
So now this is it. Like, this is your team. You had a weird beginning of when you started. You've got your coach. You've got your quarterback. You've got 2 full draft classes. underneath your belt, or if that is even a phrase, under your belt. So now that it's your team, the pressure gets ratcheted up. I mean, this is what you wanted, though, and you're comfortable in everything that you've done to this point. Does it feel like Joe Douglas's team finally?
It's not. It's our team. Like it's not a Joe Douglas team. This is Coach Sala, Woody Johnson, Christopher Johnson. You know, we're all in this together. You know, our scouting staff, our coaching staff, and you know, everybody understands the pressure. You know, being in this market, being in the city, it's a win now mentality, and I love it. I love the passion that this fan base has, and you know, I know Coach Sala and his staff. They just want to get better every day. You know, really brick by brick, and so I feel good about these young guys that we brought in. I feel good about the speed and explosiveness that we brought in, and you know, we just got to get on the grass and get better.
If I ask you a question about Aaron Rodgers, you're going to give me the stock answer. You can't talk about another team's player. You're going to give me a real answer.
I can't go into other teams' players. That's tampering.
All right,
I love these draft picks too much. I can't lose any of them.
Right, of course. I do understand that. I'm not going to put you into a tough spot. All right, very good, Joe. We appreciate your time as always. It's great talking to you. No other radio shows, okay? Just us for the rest of your tenure here with the Jets.
All right, fellas. I appreciate you.
All right,
Joe. Take care.
All right, have a good one.
See you, man.
That's the general manager of the Jets.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.